About a minute after. If everyone's okay, I'm Mr. Nelson. I teach seventh grade science at Wilmette Junior High School. This is my fifth year at Wilmette Junior High School, my 15th year teaching junior high science. Welcome to season. Just kind of in case anyone joined, if anyone wants to put anything in chat, if they have a problem, I'm just recording this for any other parents that they want to see, get any of this information afterwards. I just want to get you the rundown of how the season's going to go this year and what to expect, and afterwards field any questions. I know we have I only have about like 3 or 4 returning people from last year, so just want to give you like typically how the season's going to go, important dates, and then just what to expect just what to expect out of the season. Um, the Yeah, so what to expect, where we compete, scheduled practices, and members competing in events. This will take a little bit, just that gets a little complicated. But yeah, again, like this is if people just joining me right now. I teach on 7C science, and this is my third year teaching science Olympiad. Yeah, so what is Science Olympiad for first year people? That's just to really get students interested, people that have a curiosity, a passion for science, and just want to specialize in different events. This is something definitely for our students that we provide at WJHS. We also have, it's to promote high levels of achievement. And then also the recognition, the celebrations that we have, not only in our school, but at the competitions, our 4 major competitions. There's really a lot of when a team bonds, and at the end, we see students like people on our team place and get medals at the end. Yeah, there's a lot of synergy, and it's just been a great experience doing this in my 3 years before. Yeah, so our goals here is just, we're going to teach our competitors how to do science and collaborate with their peers on the team and gain experience. And hopefully some of our 7th graders, especially the people that are on our alternates, we're hoping to get them experience to hopefully come back out next year. So last year, our Science Olympiad team, we took 12th out of 22 teams. It wasn't the top division, it was the second tier division. We took 12 out of our 22 teams. We had a lot of people placing events at the state and won medals, especially Ken Kellister and Andrew Lee, and were our major people that placed in different events. So here's just our team from last year. This year we had 30 students try out for the team. So with the 30 students, I believe we had about 19 join. We have 15 on the varsity roster and 4 that are alternates, and I'll get into explaining what the difference between the two is. We are in Division B of Science Olympiad. That is from 6th graders ranging to 9th grade. Our team, I mean, I've only seen us compete against as oldest as 8th graders. Our team is just only has 7th and 8th graders. When our team, it's kind of like Science Olympiad, it's almost run like a track event where there's 23 events, and your child will be assigned 3 events to compete in. And it's just done there's a set schedule we have, and we just make sure students there's not overlaps where there are events they train for and compete. We have 2 invitationals, so I'll give the dates in a second, and then we have a regional, and then possibly, hopefully, state also at the end of the year. There's 3 in those 3 different types of events. The one is like a hands-on application, like we will be assigned in a physics or chemistry or life science. There's just lab events where they get assigned a lab, a practicum, and they have to do an analysis in any of those fields. The other type of those 23 is testing events where they study. They usually are allowed to bring binders, things like that, to study and also help answer these things. Like down below here, this is Rhodes Scholars. We have over here rocks and minerals, just different testing events. Just yeah. The other major type of events, did I get it? Oh, build events. Yeah, build events. I think I missed. There's things like bridges. They have to construct things. Like there's one like a wheeled car where it has to go a certain distance and stop, and you don't know what the certain distance it has to stop at until we get to the competition. They're storm the castle. These events take a lot more time for students to prep. So if students have more time, especially to meet up with their partners on the weekends or outside of school, these get a little bit more demanding. A lot of the materials that I just talked about for training for these events, the district, we pretty much order most of the tool, like most of the equipment that students need. So things that these, like the catapult, things like that, I help the students try to figure out like what they need and help them order those. I missed. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, they're assigning, there's 2 to 3 in these events. There's usually 2 to 3 students working in these events, and they're basically scored on rubrics or correctness of the test events. And then I just want to make sure I'm missing things. Sorry, I'm not sure what. Yeah. So what I was talking about before is our major of the 23 events. You'll see that there are 5 different life science events. There are 5 different earth science, earth and space, 5 chemistry, basic physical science, 4 tech and engineering and inquiry and science. These different events I'm going to go over with our team tomorrow. And with that, and we're going to pick, so they're going to pick 3 different events that they'll be in. There's some things that go into it. We got to make sure that they're not in 2 events that overlap at the competition. There's one that we have some students that are returning that have been in these events, so they're going to have priority. And then I also look over the testing events too, to see how they scored in these different sections. Because on the tryout we had, your child made it. We had a 45 multiple choice. There was 5 multiple choice questions in each part, and then we also had a build. So that's all taken into consideration, and also getting a child in an event that they want. Like I try to give them their first pick. The second and third, I can't guarantee what they get, but it's a team effort. So there might be an event or 2 that they might not be particularly well interested in, but just to help the team out. What I have here in yellow, those are our people that test the highest. So they are our varsity. So they'll be picking between these 3 events. Now, what does this mean for our 4 people that are on that are flex? There are our trial events. There are alternates. They're going to compete. They get to pick from any of these events down below on the trial event section. And those are ones that they'll prep for. However, during the season, students can't make it to events, people drop and whatnot, or they want to change events. A lot of times these alternates can at any time be brought up to varsity to help compete and get experience. The 8th grade, so 7th grade, a big thing for me is trying to get their 7th graders as much experience and also have a good time, have a good experience, hopefully come back out the next year. Experiences was one of the major things I had there. I'll send this part out in the email, so if you don't want to copy this down, I'll also send this PowerPoint too. So our first one will be right before winter break at Mary Murphy, which is very convenient. It's right down the road here in Wilmette. We have a competition in February at Killdeer, a regular invite. Our regionals, I'm hoping, is at Oakton Community College. It's probably going to be there. If it's not, there's one backup site, which might be at Harper Community College out in Palatine. But right now it's set for, we applied for the Oakton Community College. And then if we make it to state at the University of Illinois, if we make it to state, we will be down there, and I'll coordinate all these events, all the info and everything. I send out the Monday before. Location, all the logistics, all the planning of it before. So I don't want to overwhelm you. So we just, with that. If there's some events that you can't make it to, that's fine. That's where we just shuffle the lineup and get students in different events. Our big event is obviously regionals at Oakton Community College, which I know like there's conflicts with band and things, but and other WJHS after school activities that they coordinate with the other people there. So we meet Thursday. So starting tomorrow, we meet Thursday after school from 12:30 to 4:30. What does a typical practice look like? Well, tomorrow, like we're going to be trying to introducing students to the events, our team to the events, and then trying to get people to start figuring out what events they really want to specialize in. It's a lot of the time, it's just students coming together, getting together in their small teams, 2 to 3 people per event. And where I'm going around helping them, coaching them, being like, okay, here's what you need to do between now and the next practice, or what things they can do that night. Like things that they can start doing to prep for their test event, or things they need to build, or they're communicating with me, equipment that need to be ordered. During this time, there's 23 events, and every year there's 5 to 6 new events. I am not an expert in all of the events. I'm simply there to help them, coach them through, and help them with troubleshooting questions and everything. At the end of tonight, I will send out, if you want to help coach, in order to have a really, really competitive team, if you want to help your child out and coach in a certain topic, that helps us out tremendously and helps make them more competitive, where you can help. Like a lot of times when the students are prepping for this, we'll do a lot at practice, but times that they will, not saying it's mandatory, but it helps out a lot, is meeting outside of practice, especially for these invites. If a lot of the students like and are really interested in the build events, the thing is that it takes some work outside. It takes a lot of work outside of there, like getting together, coordinating with their partners. Like, can they meet outside on the weekends or at a school night to help start building and prepping for these things? But most of this equipment it'll be ordered through the school during the school district. Sometimes on Fridays. So we need the gym space. The people that are just build events, we coordinate time to go to the gym on Fridays after school, just to let them test and start doing their trials if they need the gym. That probably won't be until like late February. Well, yeah, probably not for at least like another month and a half till we really start having Friday practice. But that's just for build events only. Yeah, so kind of talking about before, how do they know what they're competing in? We get students to get in things that they're interested in, their availability, and then conflicts, making sure that certain events don't overlap each other. I've said a lot. Is there questions that people have, or questions or anything that they have? If you want to write in the chat or just say what you're thinking, that's yeah. We will have our first practice tomorrow after school in my room, in room 121, where we had tryouts. That's where we'll always have practice after school. So if that's it, yeah, I look forward to meeting everyone in person, hopefully on the Mary Murphy in December. Again, I'll put out the parent survey if you're interested in helping coach a certain event with your child, and also put the order of events, like more detailed, the manual of these there too. So yeah, if anyone's not, I've recorded the meeting too if you came late, so I appreciate everyone's time. If you want, I'll hang around for just another minute and see if anyone else has any questions. Yeah, thank you.
Hi George, this is Deepti. I have a question.
Yeah.
So I'm Aparna's mom, 7th grader. Will you be pulling the team together with a mix of 8th and 7th graders, so that the 7th graders getting coached, but also they work together and compete? Or is it just going to be individual grade level groups?
It's when I put up all the events tomorrow, we'll start picking events. We'll try to get people like 7th and 8th grade. If they're intermixed, that's great, but we want to get people working together that want to work together and get events and get them in events that they want. And also, if there's people that they can work with, that they know they can meet up with outside of school if they have to, definitely that too.
Okay. And I have one other question. Again, this is maybe early, but for these events, the competitive events, like, will you have themes published ahead of time so that the kids get to practice? Because obviously, especially for the build ones, it might take longer than a couple of weeks to put something together. So
yeah, so with that other sheet, what I told with the events, I'm going to start putting students in those events, so they'll know. I'll have a big spreadsheet so they know what events they're in and what we're prepping for. And then each week I'm checking in with those students and seeing where they're at each of those events, preparation, and what I can do to help them.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
This is Larry's mom. I also have a question. So are they competing as a team, or are they competing as an individual, or as a small team or big team altogether?
We're competing, like our WJHS, we're our own team. And then they're competing in different events representing our school. So the more we place, the higher, like the better we score in events, it gets us more team points. So at the end of the competition, like a lot of these competitions, there's at least 10 to 20 schools there. And then, team with the best overall score, wins the invite and wins the regional.
Oh, got it.
So, yeah, okay. We're together. We're a team, but they're just competing in they're working with partners at WJHS. They're competing in different events, but we're together. We're all one team.
Does that mean the more people, the more chance you guys win?
Yeah, well, with a full roster, we'll be able to compete in every. We'll be able to compete in every event.
Oh, okay, got it. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
so we're all a team. We're not competing against each other. We're just competing in different events representing WJHS as a whole.
Okay, is that similar like a science bowl? Because yeah, we in our old school we don't have science Olympaid. We have science bowl. It's like they have like a whole team. They just together. They always working together. Like have one signed captain, and they just all together. They don't represent themselves, just represent
Yeah.
the whole school. Yeah.
Yeah, same. Yeah, that sounds the same format as Science Olympiad.
Okay, great. A second question is that something you expecting the kids to do something at home as well, or in school they should be enough?
So I check in with them. Some events they're able to prep during practice. Build events, especially, which is really popular that people want to compete in, they need to have set aside some time either after school or on a weekend where they can meet up with their partner a few times to prep and build those. But like a lot of the test events and the lab analysis ones, they can do a lot of it in practice. But if we really want to be competitive, then yeah, like meeting up outside and doing some studying too, which I know it's hard to juggle with a lot of extracurriculars, but I try to check in each week and try to see what's practical, what they can try to get done between practice to practice, or what they really need to have done to be ready to compete at the competition.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Lindsay's mom. My question is for the projects for each group. The projects is it assignment or we design? I mean, you design or the students go together and think about it to create a project.
So like something like bridge, like say if they're assigned, them and another partner are assigned the bridge event, they design the bridge, and then I'm helping them making sure that they're following the rules and regulations, but they design and build the bridge themselves. And then I can help coach them on rules and things and also help order the equipment. But yeah, they're the ones building and constructing it themselves, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like a study event like rocks and minerals, like I help coach them. Like there's a binder they would put together on like how they would make sure they have everything in there ready to when they're ready to test at like the events.
Okay. How about like life science kind of a project? They're gonna design by themselves or
the lab events, we don't know. They give us the criteria of what they can know. There's a broad range of topics going into like a biology one, but they won't know exactly what the lab is or what exactly they'll be tested on until they get there. Like they'll give them a broad range, but they won't. Yeah, they don't tell us until we get there.
Okay, I got you. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, if that is it, thanks so much, everyone. If again, like when I send out the email tonight, if you have questions, I think please email me. I'm like looking forward to this. I think this is the first time I've had a full team, and we also have alternates too. And we're just hoping, again, like my whole goal this year is to give the kids a good experience. I'm excited about this year because last year we had to compete virtually, which means we were only at WJHS zooming in, and they didn't really have the authentic, the good experience that we've had in years past, where we have kids going to schools, being in rooms with kids from other schools competing, and then at the end having the award ceremony. So I think this is going to be a much better experience for our team this year, and we're just excited to get going on it. So that's it. I'll hang on for another minute in case someone has a last second question or anything. But nice meeting everyone. I'll definitely see everyone and hopefully see everyone in person at Mary Murphy in middle of December. Between now and then at practice, we're just I'll be meeting with our team, getting them prepped and ready for that competition. All right, have a good night.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.